There's a reason your BMW dealer doesn't want you watching this video. There's a reason Mercedes spent millions lobbying for tariffs. And there's a reason you've never heard of most of these cars even though they're outselling German luxury brands in half the world right now. Someone has been keeping information from you, and it's time you understood exactly what's actually happening in the global automotive market. 2026 is the year that changes everything. These 10 Chinese luxury cars are about to land in North America, and when you see what they actually offer for the money, you're going to feel genuinely robbed for every single dollar you ever spent at a German dealership. I'm not exaggerating. By the time we get to number 1 on this list, your entire understanding of what a luxury vehicle should cost is going to be completely different. Let's get into it. Li Auto L9. So you want a family SUV. You walk into your local BMW dealership dressed nice, ready to spend some serious money. The salesman finally acknowledges your existence after 20 minutes. He shows you an X7, tells you it's $90,000 before options, and acts like he's doing you a personal favor by letting you sit in it. The seats are comfortable. The screen works most of the time. The plug-in hybrid range is maybe 30 miles on a good day with perfect weather. You sign the papers, drive home feeling accomplished, and 3 years later you check the resale value and realize you've lost $40,000 in depreciation. Just gone. Evaporated. Now imagine a completely different world. The Li Auto L9 is a full-size luxury SUV with 3 rows of seating. The middle row has individual captain's chairs that recline, heat, cool, and massage. Between those seats sits a refrigerator, not a little cooler that keeps drinks slightly cold. An actual refrigerator with a freezer compartment. The rear passengers each get their own entertainment screens with wireless headphones. The massage seats have more adjustment settings than your $2,000 office chair has positions. And here's where it gets interesting. The L9 uses a range extender system. There's a small gasoline engine that acts as a generator, keeping the battery charged while you drive. Total range is over 800 miles. Pure electric range is around 120 miles, which covers your entire daily driving for most people. Here's the part that should make you uncomfortable. This thing costs around $68,000 fully loaded. You're probably sitting there thinking there must be a catch somewhere. There has to be something wrong with it. There isn't. Li Auto sold over 350,000 vehicles in 2024 alone. They're not experimenting. They're not learning on the job. They figured this out years ago, while American luxury brands were still debating whether screens should be touch or not. The L9 is coming to North America, and when it does, every X7 owner is going to have some questions for their dealership. Hongqi EHS9. Here's a name you've probably never heard. Hongqi means red flag in Chinese. And here's something that might actually get your attention. The designer who penned the Rolls-Royce Cullinan, Giles Taylor, the guy responsible for one of the most expensive luxury SUVs on the planet, he designed this car. The Hongqi EHS9 is a full-size electric luxury SUV that looks like someone took a Cullinan and then actually refined the proportions. It stretches over 17 feet long. It seats 7 people in genuine comfort. And inside, there are 6 digital screens, including a massive display for the front passenger and odd individual entertainment screens for the back row. The dual-motor version produces 544 horsepower. 0 to 60 happens in about 5 seconds flat. And depending on battery configuration, the range stretches past 400 miles on a single charge. But here's what really matters. Hongqi isn't just some random Chinese car brand. Hongqi is the official state car of China. This is the brand that carries presidents and dignitaries. When the Chinese government needs to impress visiting heads of state, when they're rolling out the red carpet for world leaders, they don't reach for a Mercedes. They roll out a Hongqi. That kind of prestige doesn't automatically transfer across oceans. I understand that, but at around $75,000 to $90,000, the EHS9 offers something the Germans genuinely cannot touch. It offers the experience of driving something rare, something your neighbor doesn't have, something that makes people stop on the street and actually ask questions because they've never seen anything like it before. If you're tired of pulling up to the country club and seeing the exact same G-Wagons and Range Rovers that everyone else has, this might be exactly what you've been waiting for. Zeekr 001FR. Here's a number that's going to make you genuinely uncomfortable. 1,265 horsepower. The Zeekr 001FR is what they call a shooting brake. That's car enthusiast speak for a sporty wagon that actually looks good. It has 4 electric motors, 1 at each wheel, and together they produce enough power to hit 60 miles per hour in under 2 seconds. We're talking hypercar acceleration numbers. Let me say that again because I need you to really process this. Under 2 seconds to 60 in a car with a hatchback, a car with room for your luggage, a car you could genuinely use as a daily driver if you wanted to. Now who makes this thing? Zeekr is owned by Geely, and Geely happens to own Volvo, Polestar, and Lotus. This isn't some random Chinese startup that appeared last week. This is a company with deep engineering resources, decades of safety expertise from Volvo, and a proven track record of building vehicles that don't fall apart. The 001 FR has already set multiple lap records at Chinese racetracks. It handles like a proper sports car, but it carries like a wagon. You could pick up your kids from school and then take it to a track day the same afternoon. The interior is premium with materials and build quality that genuinely rival anything coming out of Germany. Price? Around $140,000 for the full FR variant. That sounds expensive until you realize the Porsche Taycan Turbo GT starts at $230,000 and makes less power. Significantly less power. Almost half as much power. The 001 FR isn't coming to America to compete. It's coming to embarrass, and the Germans know it. Avatr de Vanagist. If you haven't heard of Avatr yet, you need to start paying attention right now. This brand is a joint venture between 3 companies. Chang'an, which is one of China's largest automakers. Huawei, which is the world's largest smartphone company. And CATL, which is the world's largest battery manufacturer. Think about that combination for a second. The people who know how to build cars, the people who know how to build software, and the people who know how to build batteries, all working together. The result is cars that feel less like traditional vehicles and more like rolling supercomputers that happen to have wheels. The Avatr 12 is a large electric sedan with a design language that looks like nothing else currently on the road. It's sleek without being aggressive, modern without being cold, distinctive without being weird. And inside, the technology is genuinely absurd. Huawei provides the autonomous driving system and all the in-car software. CATL provides the battery pack with their latest chemistry. Chang'an handles the actual manufacturing. The result is a car where everything talks to everything else seamlessly, where software updates happen overnight and actually make the car better, where the voice assistant understands context and actually helps. Range is about 435 miles. The dual motor version makes around 570 horsepower, and pricing sits somewhere between $55,000 and $75,000, depending on how you configure it. Here's what makes Avatr genuinely dangerous to the established players. It's the software. These cars get better over time in ways that German cars simply don't. They learn your habits, they update constantly, and they're built by a company that has been perfecting user experience and interface design for over 2 decades. BMW and Mercedes are still trying to figure out how to make their infotainment systems stop crashing randomly. Huawei mastered that problem years ago. Denza N7, BYD's luxury brand. Denza used to make boring cars. I'll be honest about that. They were fine, but forgettable. Generic shapes with decent specs, but nothing that made you actually want one. That changed completely. The Denza N7 is a mid-sized luxury SUV that looks like it was designed by someone who actually gives a damn about aesthetics. The proportions are athletic and well-balanced. The face is distinctive without being overdone, and the interior is wrapped in materials that feel expensive because they genuinely are expensive. Under the floor sits BYD's famous blade battery technology. This is the same battery system that passed the nail penetration test without catching fire or exploding. The same system that gives BYD vehicles some of the best safety ratings in the entire industry. While other batteries were failing and causing recalls, BYD was showing videos of people driving nails through their battery packs with no thermal runaway. The N7 produces up to 523 horsepower in its top specification. 0 to 60 takes about 3.9 seconds, and the range extends past 400 miles with certain battery options. Price point? Around $45,000 to $60,000, depending on trim. Here's the thing you need to understand about Denza and about BYD in general. Warren Buffett invested in this company for a reason. He doesn't throw money at speculation. BYD is vertically integrated in ways that make even Tesla jealous. They make their own batteries, their own semiconductor chips, their own motors, their own everything. When a company controls that much of the supply chain, when they don't have to pay margins to suppliers at every step, they can hit price points that competitors physically cannot match without losing money. The N7 is proof of that reality. Xpeng G9. Let's talk about charging for a moment, because this is where Chinese brands are about to completely humiliate everyone else. The Xpeng G9 can charge from 10% to 80% in approximately 15 minutes. That's faster than grabbing a coffee and a snack at a rest stop. That's faster than using the bathroom and stretching your leg. That's faster than any BMW, Mercedes, Audi, or Porsche currently available for purchase. Xpeng didn't just build a fast charging car. They built their own charging network in China with over 1,000 stations. They understand something that traditional automakers have been slow to grasp. The car is only half the equation. The infrastructure is the other half. And if you want to control the experience, you need to control both. The G9 itself is a mid to large SUV with a focus on technology and comfort above everything else. The interior features voice control that actually works the first time you say something. The autonomous driving system is one of the most advanced currently operating in China, and the build quality has reached a level where European automotive journalists are genuinely struggling to find things to complain about. Range hits about 435 miles on a full charge. Power output reaches 543 horsepower in the dual-motor, all-wheel drive configuration, and pricing starts around $50,000. Xpeng is the sleeper on this entire list. They're not flashy like BYD, they don't have the premium prestige of NIO, they don't make headlines every week with crazy stunts or celebrity endorsements. They are quietly building some of the most technologically advanced vehicles anywhere on the planet. When they finally arrive in North American showrooms, the brands that have been coasting on reputation for decades are going to have a very serious problem on their hands: NIO ET7. NIO does something that literally no other automaker on Earth currently does. They swap batteries. Instead of sitting at a charging station for 30 minutes or an hour hoping nobody else needs the plug, you pull into a NIO power station. A robot removes your depleted battery pack from underneath the car. It installs a fresh, fully charged one. The entire process takes about 3 minutes. You drive away with 100% charge, every single time. The ET7 is NIO's executive sedan. It competes directly with the BMW 7 Series and the Mercedes S-Class, except it can do things that neither of those cars can even attempt. The air suspension doesn't just react to bumps. It uses LiDAR to scan the road ahead and makes adjustments in milliseconds before your wheels even hit the imperfection. The result is a ride quality that makes traditional air suspension feel primitive. The interior features genuine wood trim from sustainable sources, real premium leather, and a sound system with 23 speakers that was tuned by audio engineers who actually understand how humans perceive sound in an enclosed space. Range with NIO's largest battery pack exceeds 600 miles. That's not a typo, over 600 miles on a single charge. And then there's this, NIO offers battery rental. You can buy the car without the battery included, pay a monthly subscription fee, and always have access to their entire swap network. That drops the purchase price significantly and completely eliminates range anxiety as a concept. You just swap when you need to, takes 3 minutes. Done. The ET7 starts around $70,000 with the battery included. That's S-Class money for a car that is arguably several generations more advanced. NIO isn't trying to be the Chinese version of BMW. They're trying to be what automotive transportation looks like in the future. And if their battery swap network ever builds out properly in North America, they might actually succeed. Xiaomi SU7 Ultra. Remember when people laughed at the idea of a phone company making cars? Remember all the jokes about cell phone manufacturers thinking they could just waltz into the automotive industry? Nobody is laughing anymore. The Xiaomi SU7 Ultra just set the Nürburgring record for the fastest production electric vehicle ever tested on that track. It beat the Porsche Taycan Turbo GT, it beat the Rimac Nevera, which is a multi-million-dollar hypercar, a sedan made by the company that makes your budget Android phone beat machines that cost as much as houses. The lap time was 7 minutes and 4 seconds around the Nordschleife, which is the long configuration. The power output is 1,527 horsepower from 3 electric motors. 0 to 60 happens in 1.98 seconds. Top speed is 217 miles per hour. And here's the part that should break your brain. It costs $73,000. Not $730,000. $73,000. For a sedan that demonstrably embarrasses Porsches on the most famous racetrack in the world. Xiaomi delivered over 130,000 SU7 sedans in their first year of production. They're expanding manufacturing capacity as fast as physically possible, and they've made it absolutely clear they're coming for global markets. Europe first, then everywhere else. The SU7 Ultra proves something important that nobody in the established automotive industry wants you to understand. The old guard has been charging premium prices for performance levels that Chinese companies can now deliver at a small fraction of the cost. The technology exists. The manufacturing capability exists. The only thing preventing you from buying one is artificial trade barriers. Either the Germans drop their prices dramatically or they lose market share permanently. There is no third option. NIO ET9. If the ET7 is NIO's answer to the 7 Series, the ET9 is their direct response to the Maybach. This is a full-size luxury sedan designed specifically for executives who want to be driven rather than drive themselves. The rear seats recline until they're almost flat. The massage functions have 20 individual adjustment points. The audio system has 35 separate speakers positioned throughout the cabin. And the rear passengers get their own climate zone, their own screens, and their own ambient lighting controls that operate independently from the front. But it's the technology that truly separates this from anything Mercedes or BMW currently offers. The ET9 uses steer-by-wire technology. There is no physical mechanical connection between the steering wheel and the wheels. Everything is electronic, which allows for levels of precision and responsiveness that mechanical systems physically cannot match. The suspension is hydraulic and fully active. NIO demonstrated its capability by driving over speed bumps with champagne glasses balanced on the hood. None of them fell over. None of them even spilled. That's the level of body control we're talking about here. The 900-volt electrical architecture enables charging at up to 600 kilowatts. 5 minutes connected to the right charger gives you 255 kilometers of range. Price starts at approximately $110,000. For context, a comparably equipped Mercedes Maybach starts at $185,000 and doesn't charge nearly as fast, doesn't have the active suspension system, and absolutely does not offer battery swapping. The ET9 is NIO's statement car, their declaration to the world that Chinese luxury has not just arrived, but has actually surpassed what the Europeans are capable of producing. And it's coming to markets where German brands have enjoyed monopoly pricing for far too long. YangWang U8. This is the one. This is the car that proves Chinese engineering has genuinely surpassed everyone else. The YangWang U8 is a luxury SUV from BYD's ultra-premium sub-brand. It has 4 electric motors, one at each wheel, producing a combined output of 1,180 horsepower. 0 to 60 happens in 3.6 seconds, despite weighing nearly 4 tons, and it can do things that literally no other production vehicle on planet Earth can currently do. It does tank turns. All 4 wheels spin in opposite directions simultaneously, and the car rotates 360 degrees on the spot. This isn't a gimmick. It's actually useful for tight parking situations and technical off-road maneuvering, where you need to reposition completely without space to turn around. It floats. If you accidentally drive into floodwaters, the U8 is designed to float for up to 30 minutes, while the wheels propel it forward at low speed. The entire body is sealed. The motors are waterproof. The system is specifically designed for emergency survival scenarios that other vehicles simply cannot handle. It continues driving on 3 wheels. If you have a tire blowout at highway speeds, the 4-motor system instantly compensates, stabilizing the vehicle in less than 0.3 of a second. That's faster than human reaction time. Before your brain even processes that something went wrong, the car has already fixed it. The interior is appointed like a Bentley or Rolls-Royce. Nappa leather throughout, African sapple wood trim, a sound system that rivals dedicated concert halls. The ride quality on adjustable air suspension matches or exceeds anything from Rolls-Royce. Range extender technology gives you over 600 miles of total range. The off-road capability exceeds Land Rover Defender with better approach, departure, and breakover angles, and the price is approximately $150,000. And that sounds like a lot of money until you compare it to the alternatives. A Range Rover configured at this level costs the same or more. A G-Wagon costs significantly more. Neither of them can float. Neither of them does tank turns. Neither of them has tire blowout stabilization. Neither of them has 4 independent motors. The YangWang U8 isn't just a good car, it's a technological achievement that represents everything Chinese automakers have learned over the past decade compressed into a single vehicle. And when it finally arrives in North America, it's going to force a conversation that legacy automakers have been desperately trying to avoid. Here's the thing that absolutely nobody in the established automotive industry wants to admit out loud. The reason these cars aren't already everywhere isn't because they're not good enough. It's specifically because they're too good. Tariffs exist because they work too well at the price points they're offered. Trade restrictions exist because open competition would completely reshape the entire automotive industry within a matter of years. Think about what just happened. We went through 10 cars, 10 different manufacturers, and every single one of them offers something that their European or American competitor either doesn't offer at all or charges significantly more money for. That's not a coincidence. That's the result of a deliberate strategy and massive investment in research and development over the past decade while Western automakers were counting their profits and assuming nobody could ever challenge them. Your current luxury car was priced based on the assumption that you had no real alternatives, that you would walk into a German dealership, accept whatever number they put on the window sticker, and feel grateful for the opportunity to give them your money. That assumption is dying right now as we speak. 2026 is the year these vehicles start landing in significant numbers. The early adopters are going to get cars that make their neighbors confused and curious. Cars that start conversations. Cars that make people actually think about what value means in the automotive context. The masses are going to follow once they actually see these vehicles with their own eyes. Once they sit in them at auto shows. Once they read the reviews from automotive journalists who can no longer ignore what's happening. Once the first few brave buyers in their neighborhood come home with something different and everyone realizes the sky didn't fall. And the companies that have been comfortably taking your money for decades, they're going to have to actually compete for the first time in a very long time. They're going to have to justify their prices with actual features and actual quality instead of just badge prestige and historical reputation. Some of them will rise to the challenge. They'll innovate faster. They'll cut margins. They'll fight to keep their customers. Others will fail. They'll cling to the old way of doing business until their market share shrinks to nothing. They'll blame tariffs and unfair competition instead of looking in the mirror and asking why they stopped trying to earn customer loyalty through excellence. Either way, you win. Competition makes everything better, and for the first time in decades, there's going to be real competition at the top of the automotive market. Get ready. It's going to be very interesting.